Right now, President Obama's special master on executive compensation, Ken Feinberg, is slashing pay at the 7 companies that have received exceptional assistance from the government and thinks his plan could be a model for the rest of corporate America.
Bloomberg Peter Cook spoke with Feinberg about the report a short time ago. He joins us right now with that conversation. Peter.
Well, Carolyn, Ken Feinberg says he's had a very, very difficult job. On the one hand, asked to come up with a pay plan at these 7 companies that encourage the firms to pay the government back. At the same time, asked to design pay packages that didn't incentivize excessive risk and that base pay is tied to performance. The end result, he says, is fair.
This report is fair because we balance, I think carefully, the legitimate public concern about compensation practices within these 7 companies. And at the same time, the need, balanced against that, to keep these companies financially successful so that they can repay the taxpayer the money that they borrowed.
What would you say to those who question whether it's tough enough? A lot of people will still be making $500,000 a year. You're only talking about pay in 2009 for November and December. What about previous pay handed out this year? Are you going to claw that back?
Not going to claw it back because of this balance that I've just mentioned. I would say this, the salaries that I have fixed for these 7 companies will be immediately reconsidered in January of 2010. And we now have in place a salary structure that I think provides the Special Master's Office a perfect jumping off point for a full 2010 consideration of compensation.
Should this be a model for the rest of the business world?
I think it should be a model, but a voluntary model. This talk that perhaps we should expand this program beyond these 7 companies, I think is ill-advised. I don't think government should be in the business of micromanaging compensation across the board in corporate America. I'm hoping that as a result of what we have done in balancing these concerns under the law, that corporate America will voluntarily see the wisdom of the approach that we've taken.
Did the White House influence your decisions in any way?
Absolutely not. The White House has had 0 input into this process. They have afforded me, as has the Secretary of the Treasury, complete independence. These recommendations rise or fall with me and me alone. And under the law, they've clearly been my responsibility. There's been no political interference whatsoever.
Tell me what you think of Andrew Hall's pay package.
All I can say about Andrew Hall's pay package is whatever the statute says constitutes excessive risk under the law, that was it.
How does it feel to be the most feared man in America?
I'm not the most feared man in America. I have a very narrow role to play here. I'm dealing narrowly with executive compensation for these 7 companies alone, and even then, only for the top 25 officials in each of those companies. It is a very narrow mandate, it seems to me.